Hey everyone, today I'm going to be interviewing Marwin about his PRK experience. For those of you who don't know, PRK is a type of refractive eye surgery to correct nearsightedness, farsightedness, and astigmatism. It's, from my understanding, the original laser eye surgery for vision correction, um, the predecessor to the more common Lasik. I've actually had LASIK done myself, but I've been curious about PRK and wanted to hear a little bit about Marwin's experience. So thanks again for coming on the show and hoping I can learn a little bit more about your vision. So how's your vision these days?
Yeah, yeah, my vision's been great. I think it's the best it's ever been. Last time I checked with the doctors, before the pandemic, it was better than 2020. I don't have the exact measurements, but it's pretty good.
Oh, that's awesome. And how did you decide to do PRK? Like, I've been really happy with my LASIK experience. Like, I
Mhm.
feel like it's like a superpower. Now I can actually see and I don't have to worry about wearing glasses. But, like, how did you decide to get PRK? And, like, how did you decide, like, PRK over LASIK?
Yeah, I think I just talked to a lot of colleagues, you know. So I had one colleague, he was in the military. He said the government used to offer PRK. And the way he explained it was PRK, so they removed the top epithelium layer of the cornea. Um, I think of it kind of like as a window, like in Catwoman scratches like a circle and then removes the window. So think about it like you're just removing that top layer, right? And then they make the laser corrections on top of that, right? But with LASIK, they actually do this thing where they kind of cut around and pull the flap back and make the corrections, then put the flap back. Now that results in scarring, right? And the thing he mentioned in the military, I guess, they do a lot of physical activity. So uh, if you get hit for whatever reason or you're in combat, that layer could come off or get damaged, and because the scarring might result in blurred vision. So that was something that I kind of looked into. But you do need the one requirement is they test the thickness of your epithelium. So they do this weird thing where they numb your eye and then they actually touch it with some kind of damper, I guess, and it kind of just touches your eye and you kind of see waves, and it measures the thickness. Um, and if you pass that test, then you're eligible for it. But not everyone is eligible for PRK. Um, yeah. So that's how
Yeah,
I kind of went there. Yeah. No
my
scarring. That's a TLDR.
That's kind of what I understood as well. Like, for me, as someone who likes to kickbox and do contact sports, I've heard people say like PRK is better because it'll re-heal really, really strong and tough. And if you do
Hmm.
LASIK, there is a chance if you're getting hit in the face that it
Hmm.
could mess up. For me personally, I have been hit lightly in the face a few times since
Hmm.
LASIK. There's been no issues, but I have heard like either the Air Force or certain military things, they always recommend
Football
PRK for,
players.
yeah, you never
Yeah.
know, like if you're like flying a plane and there's like really high intensity.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's
Exactly.
awesome. How did you decide on the doctor that you went to for your surgery?
Yeah, so I think in the because I live in the Bay Area, you hear, Dr. Craig Bindi on like, the sports channel, or Dr. Scott Hyver is known as the Niners guy, right? So I actually was reviewing a lot of these doctors in the Bay Area and that I've heard on their radio. They have radio advertisement money, so they must be doing well. And the main thing I kind of went with Scott Hyver was because my colleague, one of my old colleagues actually went to Scott Hyver, and he got PRK and LASIK done, one on each eye, which I thought was really interesting. I guess one eye didn't qualify for PRK, so he just did one of each. Um, and he said that they were both fine. So I was like, okay, well, if I go either way, I know both will be fine. So that was kind of why I went with Dr. Scott Hyver.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, he's super, super famous around here. And
Yeah.
actually, I've talked to a few other people who had LASIK and they also had it done through him. So I'm going to actually interview them in the future as well, just to hear about their experiences. That's awesome. So, was there anything in particular he told you to do to prepare before the surgery?
Yeah, I think the main things they kind of go over is, um, the logistics of, you need your medication, like you get kind of like your droppers, your steroids, things to help recover, and then kind of pain medication. So that's before the procedure. They also tell you to ask family and friends beforehand, kind of to make sure they can drive you to and from the surgery, because you can't drive right after. Um, and then also there's a post-op exam the very next day, at least for PRK. So obviously you can't drive, so you need to make sure you tell family or friends ahead of time so you can go to and from the surgery and the post-op. Um, and then also work time, you need to make sure you have enough days off. I personally recommend at least 7 to 10 if you can. Um, it's just for you're not going to be able to get meaningful work done. I would say if you're less computer intensive work, like then you can probably get away with 7. But if you're more computer intensive work, then probably closer to 10 days.
Yeah, I remember after my LASIK procedure, it wasn't, my vision was still kind of blurry. It wasn't very comfortable, and my eyes felt really, really sore afterward. Like it was
Hmm.
in pain. It felt kind of like when you have a wear contact lens and then your eyelash gets stuck in your eye, and you're like, ah, it's so
Yes,
painful. That is like
exactly.
the feeling that I had, and it felt like I had like 100 eyelashes stuck in my eyes for
Hmm.
like the next like day.
Yep.
Um, During the surgery, like, did you feel nervous? How did you feel during the procedure?
Yeah. It's interesting. They actually offer you. Uh, I can't remember what the exact medication was, but they give you something to calm your nerves down beforehand, and they actually ask you, are you not nervous at all, lightly nervous, very nervous, and based on that, they give you more of that medication.
Mhm.
Um, I just told them that I was nervous to begin with, just because I don't know if I'm going to get nervous. I felt a little nervous going into it. Um, so that was that. I I think that's and did you want me to go like over like the surgery itself,
Yeah,
or?
sure. As much as you want to share about it.
Yeah, yeah, of course. So I'll kind of take you through the whole 9 yards. So yeah, after the whole like check-in, pain meds, or the nervous meds, then they take you to a room and they dilate your eyes, and they numb them, and then you go into the operating room where the doctor is, and you it's really quick. It's like less than 5 minutes, but you sit down and they explain to you that you need to look at a green light, and then you're gonna smell something burning, which is gonna be your eye basically,
Hmm.
and then they're gonna do some stuff, but you always have to be looking at that laser, like, and they're always gonna keep reminding you of that. And I think that's the thing that made me nervous, because I mean, your eye's gonna move wherever it's gonna move, so it's so yeah. So once you sit down, you look at the laser, and it's like 30 to 45 seconds where you look at this, and then by like 40 seconds you start to smell this burning, since like kind of like burning tire, and then they start doing this thing where they kind of scrape off with some tool the actual epithelium, and then they're done. You do the same for the other eye, um, and that was it. And then he let me take a picture with him.
Yeah, wow. That kind of reminded me of my own experience. Like it's been over 5 years for me now, so it's been some time, but I do remember like going into the room being super fast. I think they offered me Valium. That's like what I think they offered. They're like, "Do you want
Hmm.
one pill or
Yeah,
two, depending on how nervous you are?" And I was like, "I'll take two." And then I
yeah.
just remember going into the room. It was all very easy, and then just looking at the light as well. But yeah, I remember for the LASIK one, they cut the flap first, and then they move you to like a different machine, and then the other machine does the other work, and then they put the flap back on, and it was pretty fast. And there's a very light burning smell as well, from
Hmm.
my memory as well.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too bad, and I've been really happy with it. How long has it been after your procedure now?
About 6 months. About 6 months, yeah, 6 7 months. I had it done in December. I actually strategically did it around the end of Christmas so that I would have that kind of like the maximum amount of time that overlapped with my company holidays as well. So I didn't have to take as many days off.
Mhm. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, that's good. That's super nice that you can rest your eyes, you can really go for a full recovery.
hmm
At
hmm
this point, like, would you recommend um, PRK to other people?
Yeah, yeah. I would definitely recommend it. I think you just have to do your own research. I would say the first things first, the consultation for most doctors is free. So find a free consultation and they'll actually test your eye for thickness to see if you're eligible for PRK. And if you are, and if you have the time to recover, then yeah, I would say go for it.
Nice. In terms of like financing your surgery, did you do anything special? I know that some people get HSAs through a
hmm
health savings account through their employers, and then you can put money like pre-tax dollars into that or tax-free dollars or something, and then utilize that HSA to help pay for the insurance. Like, did you get any assistance with like your insurance company, or how
hmm
was that process?
Yeah, so I have I can't remember the exact plan, but I believe it's Blue Anthem from my company, and they offered, I can't remember the exact percentage, but it was like 10 10 to 20% off, I believe, off the surgery. And it ended up being about 4,600 total, so 23 and I. Um, in terms of financing, I think because we live in the Bay Area, or everyone makes an obscene amount of money, so they just assumed I could pay for all of it. Uh, I just paid for all of it just because I just wanted it out of the way. But it did hurt paying all 4,600. I'm sure there could have been a plan, but it seemed um, like it was advised to just pay it all at once.
Yeah, that's my understanding. Most people I've spoken to, they paid it all at once and then that was that. I guess in terms of the recovery, like how soon did you start seeing 2020? Do you remember?
At least mm, I want to say about 6 to 8 weeks. I think that first week you're worse than you started, and then after that first week, you're getting close to normal, and everyone's different. But I think about 6 to 8 weeks when I hit 2020 ish. Yeah,
Oh, nice. That's awesome. Yeah,
yeah.
that's exciting. Yeah, for me too. I think the first few days after things were blurry, but then I started to be able to see. And I think within like a week, like I was seeing like 2020 because since LASIK is a little bit of a less intensive procedure, like
hmm
you start seeing results like pretty soon. And I was able to drive. Did you witness any like halos or anything? I don't know if that happens as well with PRK, but because I have astigmatism, I would notice like a little bit more like lines and like flares around lights.
Yeah. So I don't think when you have PRK you see a halo because you're not because for LASIK you're cutting like a loop and then you're pulling the flap back. So that scarring is the halo for you. I'm removing that entire part, so it heals over completely. So there were no halos.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, seems like it was a good experience. Would you do it again at this point if you had to do over?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. If I have the time and money, yeah, I would definitely do it again.
Yeah, I feel the same way about my LASIK procedure. Just like being able to have that convenience and being able to see, being able to travel. Do you think there was like one thing that has been like the standout thing that you've noticed in terms of like the change in the quality of your life with being able to see like 2020 all day?
Yeah, the fact that I don't have to waste my time with contacts anymore. Do waking up like the extra few minutes just to put on my contacts, making sure they're fine, or making sure I always have solution or moisturizer. Or traveling, I think is the worst. If
Mhm.
you lose like a 2 week contact, one time I was traveling in India and I dropped one on the floor. It was done. I mean, I was just blind for the rest of the trip. So I think that's what kind of motivated this whole journey.
Yeah, actually, now that you mention it, I think traveling is a huge thing because you don't have to bring the contact lens, the extra contact lens in case you lose it, like the solution or like a pair of glasses at night. I totally agree. It's been a game
Exactly.
changer for traveling.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Cool. Well, thank you for sharing your experience. Thanks again, Marwin, for being on our show today as part of our health series experiences. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button and subscribe to see any other videos. All right, so as a part of our closing ritual, deep breath in, deep breath out. All right, have a good rest of your day, everyone.
All
Take
right.
care.